I was just lying there naked. Like, is that my daughter? Walking across the busy high street naked. Hello! Today I'm going to be talking about my worst ever panic attack. I've actually made this video before years ago, but since then I've got an update on my worst ever panic attack, and I just think this is a good thing to share. I'm going to say I'm going to try. Oh, my cat's using a litter tray like 5 feet away from me. I'm going to wait a minute and then come back to you because you're just going to hear her pooping. Hang on. I'm back. I'm going to try and make this video as non-triggering as possible and as light-hearted as possible, because genuinely, if we can't laugh at these situations, then we're just going to be miserable about them. And this panic attack happened a year or two ago. I've kind of not wanted to talk about it because it's kind of, I mean, if any of you have ever had a panic attack, which I'm guessing you have if you clicked on this video, you know how scary it is, and like the aftermath of a panic attack is probably the most scary part of it, because you're like, I just can't ever imagine that happening again. Like, I can't deal with that. But I thought I'd just take you along for this story because I don't think I've ever shared it on here, and it was a bad one. And looking back now, I laugh about it with my friends, I laugh about it with my family, because that's what we just need to do, I think. So this happened in April, I think it was April 2018, this panic attack happened. I don't remember like all that much about like the lead up to it, but I remember I was going through a really stressful time. There was quite a lot of people leaning on me, and maybe that's helpful for you if you're going through a panic attack time, to kind of notice your environment, because I think there was a lot of people leaning on me for quite serious things, and I think it took its toll on me having that responsibility. And obviously I have an anxiety disorder, which means I am prone to panic attacks, and that's how, you know, when my body's extremely stressed, my mind's extremely stressed, that's how it kind of comes out. But I remember it being also very hot. It was April, I think, but it was so hot, and heat for me and my anxiety does not do well. Like, I had my first panic attack-ish type thing the other day for the first time in like a year, or like months at least, and it was horrible, and I think it was quite a lot of it was heat related. Like, I just don't do well in the heat at all. So yeah, I was in my flat with my boyfriend Drew. We'd not been together long at all, like maybe a couple of months, if that, I don't know, like it really hadn't been together long at all. And he'd seen me have like, not full-blown panic attacks, but he'd seen me have like anxiety attacks where I'd kind of need to go and lie down, or I'd need to like get cold compresses on my tummy and all that kind of stuff, but he'd never seen, I don't think anyone had ever seen something like this from me before. And I remember starting to feel that way, where you just feel not well and you start to get really hot and it's horrible, and you kind of feel like there's not much you can do. So Drew was like, okay, I mean, I've never seen this happen before, so I'm gonna turn your sofa bed, at the time I had a sofa bed, into like a sofa so you can lie down in it. And he got me like cold juice cans so I could put them on my tummy, and I was lying there like, oh, the window was wide open. I was lying there like, oh my god, like this feels horrible. And then all of a sudden it stepped up a notch and was like, this is more than just like a regular panic attack. Like, I'm going to quickly describe the symptoms that I had if you want to like skip past this part or something, but I felt so ill. I felt like I was going to be sick and diarrhea at the same time. That's the only way I can describe it. I felt hot, like I was inside a cloud, like a muggy cloud. I was sweating, my tummy hurt. It was just absolutely probably the worst I've ever felt. And at that time, I'd not lived on my own for that long, and so at that time I really relied on my family. So if I was having a panic attack, I would need somebody to get my dad. He was away playing cricket uptown, classic, and my mum was away uptown with her friend, and I was like, I need somebody to get one of my parents. I need to get to them. Failing that, I need somebody to take me to hospital right now. Like oh god. But I couldn't really voice this, so I was just in blurted ways saying like, phone dad, help, all those kinds of things. And I was lying there and I knew that I couldn't move. I knew that if I moved, something awful would happen. That's how it felt. So I was trying to, like lying like that, like trying to call my dad, and he got off playing, got into the changing rooms and saw like 38 missed calls from me and boyfriend, and was like, okay, something bad's happening. Emily's probably having a panic attack. And he left where he was and my mum left where she was. And I just remember at this point I was like, I felt so hot that I wanted to rip my skin off. So I took my top off and I took my bra off. I was just lying there naked. Like, this isn't good. Like, I just felt so unbelievably awful. And Drew was trying his best, but when I'm in that situation, I just kind of want to be left on my own. You know, it was just really, really a difficult one, because there's, you know, everyone deals with panic attacks differently, but I remember it felt like days and days and days that my parents weren't replying, and I was just like, I don't know what to do. But I mean, it's probably like an hour. And eventually my mum came, and she obviously walked into this room where I was lying on a sofa bed, surrounded by things to keep me cold, completely naked except pyjama bottoms. And she was like, okay. And bearing in mind, this was a relatively new boyfriend. She'd met him maybe once at the most. I don't know if they'd even met before, I can't remember. She was like, you know, she walks in and she sees me completely naked and kind of looks at Drew like, hi, how are you doing? Like, yeah, nice to meet you. And I was just lying there like, I could not care less about how awkward it was for everybody else, or how awkward it was for me, or why I was naked. I was just lying there like, I need somebody to help me out. So I was lying there. My mum was like, okay, Emily, you know, you're gonna have to put a top on. And I was like, I can't, like this, I just really can't. And she was like, right, okay, well, I mean, not ideal. We, you know, if you want to come home, you want to come back to our house, you're gonna have to put a top on. And I was like, I can't, like I physically cannot put anything over my head because I think I'll be sick. And if you don't know anything about me or about my anxiety, I've got a phobia of sick, so I just felt like if I put a top on I'd be sick. It made no sense, but that's just how it felt. And at this point my dad arrived and he was waiting outside in the car to take me home. So I was lying there like, I need to go home. That's like, at that time, that's where my safe place was. Like, I think most people with anxiety have some kind of place where they feel the most safe, or like, I don't know, the least bad, at least. At that point that was my parents' house. And now it's my flat, luckily, and this feels like a safe place for me. But at the time I'd just moved in, and you know, I was like, I need to get back to my parents' house. However, I can't walk around naked. So my mum was like, right, okay, well, we need to put something on you. So she grabbed Drew's jacket, which was like a denim little jacket that was just like hanging up. She passed it to me and like put it over me like this. I was completely naked on the top half. And so there was just this tiny little denim jacket covering like just here. This is so TMI to share on YouTube, but this is how anxiety can affect people. So then it was the task of getting it on me. She managed to get it on me, and she was like, you're gonna have to stand up. And I was like, I just don't think I can. I remember eventually standing up and thinking like, I'm gonna die. Like that's how it felt. Like I felt like I'm definitely, like I'm gonna die. Luckily at that point in my life, and I didn't have any neighbours in my hallway, so I just kind of strutted out, and I was literally like, I remember like wobbling from wall to wall. And at that point was the first time ever that I took Xanax, and this is not an ad for Xanax, oh my god. Like, if you're somebody that doesn't need medication, that is great. And also if you're somebody, you know, whatever medication works for you, I don't medication shame, but at the same time, when it comes to anxiety medication, you need to be really, really careful. And like, I know you're not stupid, whoever's watching this, like, but I think it is quite a dangerous game, things like Xanax, because when you're somebody that feels so anxious all the time, if you have something that can take away anxiety, it becomes extremely addictive. And so when I'm saying this, I just want you to bear in mind that I think if you are going to take something like Xanax, that you know what you're like, and if it's something that you think you know, you could possibly get addicted to or feel like you want to take more than maybe, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, obviously, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not a doctor. And so if you're going to take something like this, you should be prescribed it by your doctor, and it should be something that you have a plan for. My doctor is happy to give me medication because they monitor it, and they know I don't take it more than like when I really need to, and they're happy to kind of give me that whenever I need to, because they can see that I am sensible with it. Anyway, that was the first time I took Xanax, because I was like, I mean, before that I was kind of always too scared to take it, because I was like, it's a drug, and you know, I don't want to, you know, people with anxiety, well, me and my anxiety, I didn't ever want to take drugs or drink or anything like that, because I didn't want to make it worse. But I was like, I've literally got nothing to lose here. I think I might die. I might as well just do this. My makeup looks really crazy right now. I need to focus on it for 1 second. Okay, that's a little bit better. I just need to put my eyebrows on. But yeah, like I was saying, it was the first time I'd ever taken anything like Xanax or any kind of medication like that. And so I was really nervous about it, but I was like, who cares? Like, I think I'm gonna die anyway, might as well take it. So I took it just before I left my flat. And obviously it takes a while to kick in, and so when I was leaving the flat, like I said, I was kind of like dozing around the hall. And I got to the front door, opened the door, my dad was waiting outside in the car, and he kind of looked up and was like, is that my daughter walking across the busy high street naked? And he was right, it was his daughter walking across the high street naked, panicking, freaking out. Never felt worse in my whole life. And he was like, luckily, you know, by this point me and my dad had been through some other panic attacks, and he knew how much they affected me, so he knew that it wasn't like something I could control. Like, he knew that I was obviously just in a place where I was not well. So got me in the car and drove home, which is like a 2-second drive from my flat. Luckily, I remember like every twist and turn, like every like slight movement of the car, I was like freaking out. Got me home, and that's when the panic started to ease a little bit and the Valium started to kick in more. Luckily it helped me a lot to calm down, the Valium. And when the panic started to go away, the Valium started to kick into my system more, and I actually ended up being like hysterical. I think it was the come down of the awful panic attack, feeling so relieved that I was not dead and was alright, and also the Valium kicked in and I just found everything funny. And my friends, 2 of my friends came to see me to see if I was okay, and I was just like pissing myself and was just like, I think overall I'm glad I had that experience in some ways, because although it was literally the worst panic attack of my whole entire life and it was horrible, it made me see that, one, I can use something to help me calm down. It did help me calm down. There's something that's on my side, there's something that I can use. Like I said, I probably use Valium maybe every 6 months, like twice a year, maybe 3 times a year, when it's really, really severe. But just having that with me at all times, knowing it's there, that if I ever needed it, it was there and could calm me down within half an hour, it's just like the best thing. But also I'm kind of glad that the people around me got to see what a really bad panic attack's like. I think it's helped them to understand what I go through and understand what people with panic attacks go through, and help them to know what to do in that situation. I know like a lot of things can be fobbed off these days with like, oh, it's just anxiety. But when people say it's just anxiety, to me, I want to tell them this story, or like any story of any panic attack, or you know, any severe panic attack somebody else has had, and say like, you know, just anxiety, like anxiety can be so severe, like so severe. It can do like things to us and make our lives like really difficult. But also I wanted to say, you know, that panic attack happened a couple of years ago for me, and I remember after that panic attack feeling like, what the hell am I gonna do? If I'm able to feel that way, if like a panic attack can happen to me that severely, I'm so terrified of it ever happening again. Like, you know, I remember just being so terrified, and it being just such a horrible experience, and feeling like out of control of my body, and it was just horrible. But I want to tell this story now because at this time in my life, like, things are starting to, touch wood, kind of be alright. I mean, I felt like that before the pandemic, and then a pandemic happened. I was like, I better not say that again. But I'm going to say it again, and sorry if another pandemic happens and I bring something bad into existence in the world, but you know, I'm at a place now where I'm comfortable with who I am. I'm comfortable with the fact that I might not be able to do things in the same way that everybody else can, but you know, I'm comfortable that I can speak on these issues and, you know, hopefully help people feel less alone, or help other people understand anxiety and understand panic and how much it affects people and how terrifying it is. You know, good things have come from that, and most importantly, I don't fear panic every day. You know, I sometimes get anxious about being out in public and having a panic attack. I sometimes get anxious about being far from home and having a panic attack, but I deal with that. I set my boundaries. You know, I never do things that I don't feel ready to do. I never do things I don't want to do. I do things for myself, and I only do them when I feel ready. The people around me can kind of like it or lump it. It's not up to them, it's up to me. And I kind of feel like it's quite an empowering place I'm in right now. And if you're in a place where you're really anxious or panicky, I think setting boundaries is one of the best things that I've ever done for my anxiety. It kind of shows my anxiety that I'm on its side, that I'm not going to go against it just because other people think I should. And it's just helped me so much. And people might think that you're, you know, not stepping out of your comfort zone enough, or you're doing this, or you know, you need to start living your life, or you know, whatever. People can think whatever. Hi Martha. But only you know your boundaries, only you know how much you can manage at one time, and whatever that is, that's okay. So that is the story of my worst ever panic attack. I hope that by sharing this I can help somebody, I can make somebody feel less alone. I can help somebody know that if you've just had a really bad panic, that you're not always going to be scared of it, that it's okay for you to feel scared of it, and it's okay for you to take your time and go really slowly, or maybe help somebody understand panic attacks more and understand that it's not just anxiety, it can be really severe, really difficult. And yeah, thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you soon. Bye.